Hi, R12. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. I just wanted to say that I was looking at some of the assignments from yesterday on Seesaw. You guys are doing a really good job with the angles. We're going to get into that a little bit more today, talking about some different parts of the angles, which I will get to in just a minute. But I was thinking about what I was going to do today, and I was thinking about some of the things I miss about being in the classroom and being with you guys every morning for our morning meeting. And one of the things I miss is reading to you guys. So I found this book today. It's called One Good Deed. And I just thought the pictures were really cute and the idea was really great. And, you know, with everything that's going on in the world right now, we're hearing a lot about, you know, trying to do good things for people and lift people up and making ourselves feel better and making others feel better as well. So I thought this was a really good book for the time. And I just wanted to read it with you guys. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see the pictures. And I thought I would kind of just go through it with you. So there are a couple of things in words that I wanted to talk about before we read the book, just to kind of refresh your memory about what these words mean and how they pertain to the book. So the first word that I want you to listen for and think about is deed. What is a good deed? Well, a deed is an act of doing something. You're completing a task. Could be something small, could be something large, kind of depending. The next word is selfish. What it means to be selfish is that you do not think about other people. You only think about yourself and having good outcomes for yourself and yourself only. People get hurt along the way, well, so be it. You want things your way and only your way. That is being selfish. So the first word was deed, second word, selfish. Third word I want you to think about, and that's mentioned in the book, is the word perched. It just talks about a bird perching high on a tree. If you're perched somewhere, it's that you're sitting still. It could be, you know, obviously we don't go perch on a limb on a tree because we're not birds, but we could perch ourselves on a little a wall or a chair. You can even perch there, but you're sitting still and you're kind of just there, perched. The next one is savor, which means if you get, you know, an ice cream cone and it's so good, it's your favorite flavor, you do not want it to go away, so you're just kind of taking it slow and you're just savoring every bite. You're making it last because you love it so long. When I get a piece of chocolate, sometimes, you know, I love my pizza, I just take it nice and slow because I don't want it to go away. I love it so much. So that is savor. The last word I'm going to talk about, and you may or may not have heard this word before, it's the word shears. And shears are basically a type of razor. They're often electric, and it just kind of gets the job done a lot faster. A lot of boys use shears to shave their head in the summer because it's hot, and they can do that. They can shave their head. So shears is the last word. Okay, so deed, selfish, perched, savor, and shears. Those are the words that are mentioned in here, and I just thought it would be nice to review them before we get started with the book. Things I want you to listen for, of course, are the good deeds that happen. There's kind of both going on here. No good deeds and then good deeds. So I want you to listen for the good deeds that happen. And not only that, I want you to think of some good deeds that maybe you've done or people have done for you. And you can bring them for discussion on our Zoom tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll talk about some good deeds that we've been doing or that we've done in the past that made us feel good and we know made other people feel good. I have a lot that I already am thinking about. So, all right, with no further ado, here is the book. I'm going to try to sit in a way that you can see me reading. The book is called One Good Deed. It's written and illustrated by the same person. Her name is Adrienne Noel. Great pictures, like I said. A colorful kite flies through the air. At the end of its string, a squirrel filled with care. The squirrel looks up to the sky with only one wish, that all living things could live life less selfish. A deer is hungry. We look the other way. A dog has no home. He has no place to stay. Little owls grow up without books and toys. So much sadness for those girls and boys. A kitten sits shivering without a coat, and a sea lion struggles to stay afloat. A lamb wanders around, obviously lost. She can't remember where she lives or what street she crossed. A bird is perched on a limb high above, watching a lonely swan who has lost his true love. Too often we ignore each other with a shrug, when sometimes it could take just one simple hug. We need to open our eyes to see the light and open up our hearts to make it right. It only takes one simple deed to help someone in desperate need. The squirrel digs up a nut and offers it to the deer. The deer says, "Thanks, but I can't repay you, I fear." The squirrel replies, "All I ask is that you pass on the favor. I made you smile today, and that I will savor." If everyone did one good deed a day and told that someone how to repay, we could all live in a world as free as my kite, warming our souls and making our future so bright. The dog finds toys that were being thrown out. He brings them to the owls and watches them play about. The owl's father comes out to thank the little dog and builds him a doghouse from a nearby log. The deer rushes over to help the struggling seal. "You saved my life. Please stay for a homemade meal." The lamb sees the shivering kitten and pulls out her shears. She starts to cut away her wool, being careful behind the ears. The kitten guides the little lamb back to her home and heads over to the pond where the buffalo roam. A monkey asks the buffalo to take him to the swan. "I've come here to offer friendship and a shoulder to cry on." A bird approaches the squirrel flying his kite and tells the story of his broken wing and how he couldn't take flight. He explains how a kind raccoon came to his aid and said, "Someone did me a favor. That needs to be repaid." Oops, I'm skipping a page here. Or maybe not. The squirrel sits in shock that his wish has come true. One good deed a day is all you need to do. So, just a little book that, again, I thought was cute, and the pictures are nice. I wish you could see them better. Maybe next time I read, I can put the pictures a little closer so that you can see. But that's one thing that I would like to start doing more, is reading to you guys, because I miss that. I miss seeing you every morning for our morning meeting and reading to you and talking about just stuff around the world and stuff that we do. So bring your good deeds to our Zoom tomorrow morning, okay? All right, let's talk about assignments. So today we are extending our discussions about angles. Like I said, the ones that did the assignments did a really nice job identifying obtuse, acute, right angles. So great job with that. So today we're kind of going to dissect or take apart those angles, and we're looking at different types of lines that make up the angles, okay? So we're going to talk about the point, a line, a ray, and a line segment. So you got 4 things today that you may or may not have heard of before, okay? So the first one I'm going to show you here in just one moment. Kind of want to get a cover for the other ones so you don't have to see those at first. Okay, the first one is a point, okay? That's the term. We have the terms, the definition of that term, and then the illustration. I was running out of room here, but the illustration means what that term actually looks like on paper, okay? Because that's what you're going to be doing in Seesaw today, is identifying these different terms, okay? So a point. A point is an exact location in space, okay? And it looks like a giant period that we use as punctuation when we're writing. So a point is any location in space identified by this illustration right here. Simple enough, right? All right, next up we have a line. A line is an endless straight line. It has no points on it. If you look at the illustration, it's got an arrow at each end, which means it goes on indefinitely into infinity and beyond. So the line, as you can see, and when I drew the word, I did put arrows at the ends of each line, because when you see those arrows at the end of each line in math, that means that line goes on forever. Okay, there is no end, whereas a point represents an end. Okay, so if we move down to array, it has both. Okay, array is a point of a line with a single endpoint. That's array. So it has a endpoint, and it also goes on forever, going that other direction. It stops here. Okay, if it had an arrow on this side, it would be a line, but it doesn't. It has a point. Okay, and that makes it array. Array has both a point and an arrow. Okay, meaning the line only goes that way forever. It does not come this way toward me forever. Make sense? A line goes both ways forever, on and on and on. Okay, the last one we're going to talk about, that is called a line segment. What that means is it has two endpoints, so it only goes a certain length. Okay, endpoint here, endpoint here. It does not go on indefinitely or infinitively either way, because there are two endpoints. So an endpoint basically means stop when you see that in math. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture of this and I will post it to today's email. There's also two questions on here that says, how is a line different than a segment? In one of your activities on Seesaw, you're going to have to explain that. Okay, so when you have your activity come up, make sure that you're scrolling to the right. If it says like 1 out of 2 up in the corner, that means there's 2 pages to the assignment. You have to make sure you scroll to the second page and complete that as well. And that is one of the questions you're going to have to answer today, is what is the difference between a line and a segment? Okay, segment, line. So you're going to have to tell me the difference. Okay. The second thing that I wanted to mention to you is that infinitely means it's infinite. It goes on forever. It goes on and on and on. Sometimes when you're listening to me talk, you probably think I'm talking to infinity. Well, then I guess I'm a line, because I go on forever. Okay, so that is what that means. And one of your assignments also asked you about that as well. Okay, so those are the only 2 new things on Seesaw today, are practice with these lines and segments, because you're going to need to know those as our assignments go on. So please do those. I will post this to the email. I will also post a new Seesaw code for today. I have 2 other things for you to do. I will also be emailing questions for Mr. Popper's Penguins, chapters 3 through 5. Hopefully you've read those by now, and you can answer those questions. Please bring them with you to our Zoom tomorrow. So tomorrow to our Zoom, you are bringing your good deeds that you have done or people have done for you. You are bringing your spelling list with the worksheet from yesterday and a bonus for 5 times each. Fun. And I would also like you to bring your Mr. Popper's Penguins questions. Okay? So I will put that in the email, but those are your tasks for today. I enjoyed reading to you guys this morning. I can maybe make that a little better next time, I think, showing you the pictures a little better. I will work on that. We are all a work in progress, right? And I hope you guys have a great day. It's going to be another beautiful day, I think. I guess depending on the area you're in. We've got some rain coming in at the end of the week, but that gives us lots of time to get assignments done, right? All right, I hope everybody has a good day, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.